Hello Flosstube, my name's Natalia and this is my channel, Official Mermaid's Cove, where I share my cross-stitch hobby and some of my other crafts. This is my monthly update for April, so I'm going to go through everything that I worked on in April. I'm going to go ahead and start off with my finishes. I only had one finish in April, and it was my Dimensions kit. This is the first Dimensions kit I've ever finished. I was working on this as part of Blushing Pink Stitches, all of the kits April sale. And this was a Midnight Snowman kit container. There's still, I mean, this came with a lot of different thread colors. There's still plenty of threads. I will say I did use quite a bit of the blending filament, but I wouldn't be surprised if you could stitch at least this up. The fabric that was included in the kit was 18 count navy Ada, so if you got another piece you might be able to stitch everything up. You just might have to get some more blending filament. But this is what it looks like. This is one of the Petite kits. I've heard the Gold Dimensions Petites can be kind of difficult to work up. I mean, I don't have anything to compare it to because this is the first one I've stitched up, but I liked how it turned out. It looks so cute, all the little animals. The little fox and the birdies, the deer, the squirrel. I like all the little details. Snowman's buttons, the scarf. There's like little back stitching for the fringe of the scarf here. There's some, so they have like French knots with the blending filament and white thread scattered around the night sky to be stars, and then they have some smaller French knots here that are just the blending filament. And there's some blending filament in the star, there's some blending filament in our snowman, and in the snow on the ground. You can kind of tell some of the bulkier stitches. The shadow from the light is kind of showing you where the bulkier stitches with the 4 ply of blending filament and 1 ply of white DMC thread. Or I guess it's not DMC. No, the kids don't say they have DMC thread. I don't know if it's like a specific, you know, different kit companies sometimes have their own color threads, but their version of white. Yep, there's French knots in some of the eyes. The bird down here actually doesn't have one, but like the cardinal over here does. The fox, they just used a black stitch. The deer has like a French knot in the eye, a white one to like give a highlight. The squirrel has a black French knot, and then the snowman actually just has, you know, some back stitching for the eyes. There was so many, there's like 3 different shades in each of these colors, and it really adds like, you know, the dimension of the hat and the fringe. There's some French knots here on the white French knots on the rim of the hat, and then there's like I don't know if this is holly. It's like some greenery here. There's French knots for the berries here. We got some stitching to like flesh out the pine tree. There's a lot of little details in that small area. It really brings it to life. So I'm so happy I have this finished. My sister found this kit for me and gave it to me as a gift. So now that I have it finished, I might give it back to her and see what she wants to do with it. I know she has an eBay store. If she can't find a use for it, this might be one of the ones that, because she had mentioned that since I'm not really particularly attached to my finishes, that we could try selling some on her eBay store. But I've never tried that, so I'll leave it up to her to decide what she wants to do with this. So, some of the details on this, I had put the chart, not when I initially started stitching on it, but I eventually did put it into Pattern Keeper. It's about 8,800 stitches, including, I counted some of the back stitching, but I wouldn't use that as like a, you know, solid, strict count of the stitch count for this. That's just something I use to like track my progress on this. The majority of that stitching was done in the month of April. I had done some initial stitches, like maybe 200 stitches to start it for my, this is one of my Christmas Advent starts for Christmas 2023. So I think I did like 8,000, almost 8,600 of those stitches in April. But yep, that's finished. So that was my only finish for April. Then I started working on my whips according to like the goals that I had set for them. I tried to start closer to like the lower amount. I think the lowest goal that I had at the beginning of the month was for my Beauty and the Beast, but I went ahead and focused on my first Gecko Rouge kit first, because that's being stitched 10 stitch, and the Beauty and the Beast is being stitched full stitch, so I figured I could knock out the 10th stitching on this. And I was also, so this is a Gecko Rouge kit. The kit's called Dracarys. It's a kind of Art Nouveau style of the Game of Thrones. It shows Daenerys with her 3 dragons. The artwork is by Dailen Ogden. They have a lot of beautiful artwork. They also have some kits on Gecko Rouge for like, I think they have Howl's Moving Castle on there. Very beautiful. I haven't bought that one, but I really like this one. And this month I was focusing on this background color, so I figured that would go pretty quick as far as stitching it up. I'm currently stitching this 2/110 on 28 count gridded even weave. So I'll show you where that's at. I'm not going to take this one out of the Q snap. This one's one of my fairly bigger ones. I have a monthly goal of 3,000 stitches, and I got 3,383 10 stitches in on this, and I just basically use that to finish up the background color here. I have another goal for month of May, same, just 3,000 stitches. 3,000 stitches is like close to maybe 1% of the pattern. This stitch count now is at 66,411 stitches completed out of 224,058 stitches. So I still have like almost, so I have 157,647 stitches left to go on this pattern. I think this is the biggest pattern I've worked on as of yet. I think I'm planning on going back and starting to get more progress on these flame motifs to finish out the circle, and then start, you know, stitching this part of the dragon, and then eventually working my way to working on Daenerys here, and then starting on the second dragon's kind of peeking through. Kind of see the outline of the horns back here. But yeah, I'm really enjoying working on this. I'm hoping to double down on this after I have some of the other scheduled stitching that I have put deadlines on myself for. But yeah, so you'll see this one again. You'll probably see this one for maybe a year out. We'll see how long it takes me when I double down and start focusing on it. And then I mentioned Beauty and the Beast. This is, oh, I stopped the Q snap. Let me clamp this part. So this is Beauty and the Beast. I can insert a picture now. This design is by Autumn Lane Stitchery. I am stitching this as my hashtag You're the Dragon Sal. It has a sea dragon in it. This is where I'm at so far. I had a monthly goal of 1,500 stitches, and I got to stitch 1,764 stitches in April. It is currently sitting, oh, I didn't mention, my Dracarys piece is at 29.6% completion. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. This one is at 33.2% completion. It does have beads, that is including beads, and it's, again, I'm tracking it in Pattern Keeper. So if there's backstitch, it doesn't include that for that count. I'm currently have 4,762 stitches out of 14,355 stitches, according to Pattern Keeper again. So that means I have 9,593 stitches left to go. I'm keeping the goal the same for this month in May at 1,500 stitches. That's about maybe 10% of the pattern. So if I keep going like that, it will be eventually a finish by the end of the year. So yeah, I'm enjoying working on this. Oh, it's stitched on 18 count self-dyed Ada. I don't think I'm the one who dyed this. I believe my sister did. Just banking on the fact that there's a ton of different colors. She's a lot more creative in her when we do fabric dyeing, and adventurous on using different colors. I really like how the fabric is looking, and especially how the design's starting to pop off the fabric after I added some of the darker colors. I think it's going to really look really beautiful on this after it's all said and done. So I'm probably going to focus on finishing the tail of the mermaid and then going back and stitching the body of the sea dragon. I know like the sea dragon's tail fin is over here too, so I'm trying to work my towards finishing the bottom half and then working my way back up so I can do the sea dragon and the mermaid's faces and the hair. So yeah, that's where I'm at on that one. The next one that I worked on was my Mirabilia. I'll pop in a picture. This is Nightingale by Mirabilia, designed by Nora Corbett. I am stitching this on a table linen that I ice dyed with some powder dyes. It's about 28-29 count, and I'm stitching at 2/2 threads. I didn't mention it for this one. For my Beauty and the Beast, I'm stitching this 2/1 on 18 count. Full cross. This is 2/2 full cross. I have a goal for May to finish this. I'm already a good chunk into the pattern. I had a monthly goal for April of 6,000 stitches, and I got 6,067 stitches done. This is now at 56.5%. I'm hoping I'll be able to finish her because that count is in... I'm tracking this again in Pattern Keeper, so that's including the beading. Usually I can get the beading done because you're not having to switch thread colors at a quicker pace than the stitching. I might do a stitch with me when I start beading hers, just so I can show you the process of how I do it. I just find a DMC, well, it doesn't have to be DMC, I actually have a bag of like miscellaneous embroidery floss that I go to first, and I try to match up a color that's as close to the background color as possible. I'll probably lean more towards like the reds versus the blacks and the lighter shades in here, and then use that to bead the entire design. But yeah, I was very happy with the progress I was able to get. I'm 13,017 stitches in out of 23,056 stitches according to Pattern Keeper. That's including beads, but not including backstitching or anything like that. I had shown this before in a previous video, but there's these the metallic here that I got to add in. I think this is mainly the only area it's used in. There's some backstitching metallic for her coming off of like her headpiece or like intertwined in her hair back here, and then the other specialty thread is the glow in the dark for the lantern that's going to be used over here, so I haven't stitched that yet. I'm going to try to finish the bottom of the dress and then work my way back up to stitching her. I'm planning on stitching her skin 1/1. I might not do that for this because the linen, if you can kind of, yeah, you can see my hand through it, it's kind of sheer, so I don't know how well it would hold up to 1/1 stitching. I mean, it's pretty good when you have tension on it, but I just don't know if as soon as I take it out, if it's going to be a problem or not. So I guess I'll make a final decision when I get there. But yeah, I really liked stitching out these roses. There's a lot of little details to the dress. These motifs, there were certain aspects of it that didn't quite make it geometrical. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but I kind of fixed certain things and I didn't fix others. Like if you notice, I changed some things just to suit me to make it more geometrical, and I didn't change others. Is it here? I'm trying to see. There's a point in this metallic. Okay, right here. Like there's a stitch here, if you notice, that it doesn't meet up. So there's like a gap all the way around, and that's the same for all the motifs. So I don't know if when they were charting it, they kind of copy and pasted. Well, no, it's same here, yeah. There's like one stitch missing in the corner. I didn't fix that because I figured maybe they were trying to show some of the pleats in the dress with that. There's some other areas that didn't necessarily make sense, like over here, it didn't match up to like the same charting over here, and then it's repeated for all three motifs, so I don't know if when they were charting it, they like copy and pasted it onto the chart. It was just bugging me, so I fixed certain things, but then I just left that in there. I wasn't too bothered by that part of it. But yeah, you can see all the spaces where beads are going to be added, all these spaces here in the dress. There's some centers here, they're going to have beads in them. I know there's a bunch of beading here in the fringe at the outer edges. I'm not sure if there's some right here, but I know there's some down here. I also got to add in the water lilies. The silk thread. This calls for the water lilies ink, and it feels really nice stitching with it, and I like the subtle variegation in it. So I look forward to stitching more of that. That's in the last ruffle here at the bottom. So I'll get to do some more of that, and then there's some of this. Yeah, you can see here, like in the swirls here, there's beading around there. Some of these swirls I just haven't finished stitching the gaps in yet, but you can see some of those gaps are going to be beads as well. And then I think, I'm not sure if I just haven't stitched this in, if there's going to be beads here. I know these are beads. These gaps here are beads. I'm not sure. This might be beads, or this might just be, I haven't gotten to stitching the center of that motif yet. But yeah, I'm really enjoying stitching on her. I hope to get it finished this month in May. And after I finish her, I might, I don't know, we'll see. You saw my big stash of Mirabilia charts. Some of them I've already matched up with fabric, some of them I haven't. So I have plenty to work on once I finish her. But yeah, this one's one of my deadline stitches, so I want to, if at all possible, finish her this month so that I can start looking for frame, getting her looking nice. The next one that I worked on was my other Gecko Rouge kit. This one is called Yin Yang Dragons. The artwork is by JoJo's Art. You can find them as JoJo's Art on Instagram. The artist name is also just Jonas Joedicke. This is also stitched on 28 count gridded even weave. I started stitching the first row of pages on so I started stitching the top row of pages with the horns of the dragons, 1 over 1, just to see how I liked it, and I was also parking, and then, I don't know, it wasn't really working for me, it wasn't giving me the progress that I wanted, so I switched back to doing tent stitch 2 over 1 on 28 count, and in April I really focused on I participated in 24 hours of cross stitch. There were people who were like doing timers and everything to make sure they did the full 24 hours. I didn't really do that. I just dedicated like 8-hour blocks, or tried to. I don't think I ended up stitching at all on Friday, so I tried to make it up on Saturday and Sunday, but just to try to dedicate some time so that I could get in at least 24 hours to do this. So I might have not actually stitched for 24 hours, but I actually managed on that weekend alone to get like 3,000 stitches, and I had a monthly goal in April for 10,000 stitches on this. This is one of the whips that I plan on finishing in 2024, but I took the 24 hours cross stitch to finish the faces. I've also done a video, my last weekly update showed like a closer in-depth review of them. I really like the detail that I'm getting. I haven't been disappointed with any of the Gecko Rouge kits I've gotten. I've worked on one other than this one in the Dracarys, and that was giving them a place to fly free. That was by I think they go by Aruda Art. I put the actual artist's name in my post on Instagram, but I think if you would look them up on Gecko Rouge and you were looking for the artwork, you would probably have to look them up under Aruda Art. But yeah, the charting is so beautiful. Like this entire chart, and obviously it doesn't have background, so that factors into it, but it's just under 66,000 stitches. And you can really see the details in the faces and the eyes. You can see all the details in the scales on this dragon, the veins in the fins, and then this dragon, like all of the fur, the hair, the whiskers. Look at the nose. You just gotta boop. When you see a nose, you gotta boop. But yeah, so I was doing color completing before I focused on the faces, and now I'm trying to go back to color completing because that just helps me get a little bit more progress in. I was trying to finish stitching the lower count of stitches first, and then I think I've gone back to maybe trying to stitch the larger counts, because that, if I stitch like the main color of the dragon first, then that gives me something to go off of when I put in the other stitches. That's what I did with this dragon, and I think I'm gonna have to go back and do that with this dragon, because there's a lot of white stitching in here, and I'm starting to find gaps that it's hard to like orient myself in, so I might have to go back and just do the main color for this dragon, and then go back to doing the smallest stitch count remaining for the colors, and just tracking it like that. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm excited with how it's stitching up, and I hope to get more progress on it. Like I said, my goal for the month of April was 10,000 stitches. I got 10,005 stitches. This is officially at 61.3%, which is exciting. So the stitch count is at 40,453 stitches out of 65,964 stitches. So that means I have 25,511 stitches remaining. So if I keep to a monthly goal of 10,000 stitches, this should be maybe a summer finish. So we'll see. For my Nightingale, I have 10,039 stitches remaining. So my goal for this month is not going to be 6,000. It's going to be to completely finish that. So I'll be shooting to get over 10,000 stitches on that as well. See, wish me luck. I have pretty ambitious goals for this month. So those were the whips that I had planned to work on, and then I got my package in for the Ever After Sal. Well, I don't really have a picture for this one. I can try to post a picture. Well, do they have a picture of the mock-up? They might, or they might not. But right now, I just have the pattern for the frames for the Sal, and then they'll start actually releasing the monthly release, well, weekly. It's going to be a weekly release, pattern release for each of the frames, starting every Monday, starting towards the end of May. So look at this beautiful fabric. So I opted for the 32 count Belfast linen option. This is Ever After fabric, hand dyed by Forbidden Fiber Co. They're the ones who are hosting the sale. This is also Forbidden Fiber Co. threads. The threads that are included in the sale are not as variegated as I've seen from Forbidden Fiber Co. I have been stitching this so far, like trying to, it's not the most frugal way, it's trying to get as much variegation as possible. I guess, I don't know if you would call this the Danish method, but I think I might, depending on how much thread I have after I finish some of these frames, I don't know how much of this purple is used in the rest of the pattern. She does give you the DMC number though, so if I do end up using all of the hand-dyed thread and have to resort to using the DMC, I don't have a problem with that. And then I bought the thread for the kit, right? So if I end up using all the thread for the Sal, then it's serving its purpose. But I'm trying to get you a shot of all of this fabric. It is gorgeous. Every time I have it on this big frame, just so I can try to orient myself based off the other frames I've stitched, I'm trying to be really careful with the stitch count for this, because I've heard horror stories of people's like frames not matching up, and I have had to frog several times doing this just to make sure that I get it right, but so far everything's been working out well. So this is some additional stitching that I did today, because this has been my work project. But last month in April I got 660 stitches done. That's about 10% of the stitches you need for the frame. So there's an inner frame and an outer frame. The inner frame is the purple, and I think the outer frame is like a gold color. So right now I'm just trying to stitch all the purple, and then I'll go back in and it'll be a lot easier to just outline, you know, the purple frame with the gold frame. There's like 5,980 stitches left to finish the frames, so I'll be working on trying to finish that, taking this to work and finishing all of that up, so I'm completely done with the frames by the time they do the first release later this month. It's gonna be like towards the very end of the month. I think it's the last Monday in May that they're gonna do the first release, so I'm hoping I should get that done. This isn't too complicated, you just gotta be careful with your counts and make sure you're lining everything up and orienting it correctly. But I have a lot of room. There's definitely a lot of fabric. I think when I did the math, there's like a good 3 to 4 inch margin in some areas for what she gave me, like what's required for the actual pattern versus extra fabric. It wasn't enough fabric to where I felt like I should orient it to the point where I had leftover fabric that I could still stitch on, but it'll definitely give me good margins for how I decide to finish this. As big as it is, I might end up doing a tapestry finish. I feel like it'll look really nice. It's one of my favorite movies, so I wouldn't mind having it hanging either in my room or in the living room. We'll see. And I mean, you have to display with this beautiful fabric, right? But yes, I'm excited about it. I haven't started watching the movie yet. I was planning on doing that while I'm stitching this, but I just haven't gotten... I might start doing it when they actually start releasing, like, the actual, like, chart releases for filling in the frames. Because since I'm taking it to work, I'm not watching the movie while I'm at work, obviously. But yes, if I didn't mention, this is a 32 count fabric. It's being stitched 2/2. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So that's for the Ever After sale being hosted by Forbidden Fiber Co. The other new start that I got in was not planned, but this is Mermaid Periwinkle. I'll insert a picture of what the artwork was. They haven't... Well, they were looking... So this is charted by Kat from Whittier Stitches on Instagram. She was looking for model stitchers, and I guess by the time I had seen it, she'd already picked her model stitchers. She's doing... Well, she had charted this chart in 4 different skin colorways. I don't know if she picked a model stitcher for each of those colorways. But it's a very inclusive, body positive mermaid. I think she's gorgeous. I love her so very much. I already know who I would gift it to. I'm stitching this on, and I had shown this in my hand-dyed fabric parade. This is a Picture This Plus fabric. It's a 16 count crystal jazz. It's opalescent. You can see the sparkle. I'm using the called for threads for DMC. This does have 1 color of beads. I think I have it in my stash, and if not, I might just sub with similar colored beads, but we'll see. I'll try to... I have a pretty good stash of Mill Hills, so I'll try to see if I can use the ones that she calls for. So this, she actually... The model for this chart is Mermaid Periwinkle on Instagram. She does... you know, the people... I mean, she's a real-life mermaid, is basically what it is. She puts on mermaid tails and I don't know if she does photo shoots or she does performances of mermaids, but if you go on her Instagram, she has so many beautiful pictures. Gorgeous. And she... they used her as the model for this design. And I don't know... She mentioned Aaron Culpepper on Instagram. Aaron Culpepper makes stuff. I'm assuming that they helped with the artwork. And then Kat charted it. But I've been crediting both of them. I've been posting my updates on Instagram. I did ask for Kat's permission. Obviously, this isn't... I don't know if she's actually released the pattern as of yet, or after the model stitching's done, she's going to have it for purchase. I know she does have another inclusive pattern already up, and I think it is a free chart. I've seen a lot of people stitching that too. So definitely go check them out. They have got a lot of things... a lot of good things, and I look forward to seeing some of the other patterns that they release. But of course, you know, it's a mermaid. And like I said, you know, she had already, I think, received messages from people and already decided on the model stitchers, but then I had posted, like, oh, well, if you need somebody... Like, I at the time, I didn't know that she was doing different skin conversions, but I was like, if you want to try a different conversion, all the colors or something like that, I wouldn't mind doing something additional to that to be able to stitch this. And then she did message me and she said, actually, I have all the model stitchers that I need, but since you're Official Mermaids Cove, how can I not let you have the mermaid? I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. So I'm really happy that she, you know, sent me the chart to work on, and she gave me permission to post updates. So I love how it's stitching up so far. This is just like the I guess it's seaweed that's surrounding her right now. I stitched the outlines and then I've been filling in the colors, so I really like how it's stitching up. Her pattern, when I inputted it into Pattern Keeper, I haven't been having any issues with it. It inputted very easily into Pattern Keeper, so that is some feedback that I have. So far that's been wonderful. Following along with the pattern has been wonderful. I love how this is stitching up. The process of stitching this pattern has been really nice. And I'm looking, I think I want to go ahead and maybe... I'm probably going to stay down here first, stitch as much of the plants as possible, fill in the leaves, and then work my way from bottom to the top and see how that goes. This is the initial stitching I did to like center. I like to do center starts because it just makes sure that I keep, you know, as much patchwork as possible for my finishing at the edges. So this is a streak in the hair, and then I use this to count off of to start the seaweed. But yep, I'm really enjoying working on this. I tried to stitch at least 1,000 stitches into it to see, you know, get a good chunk into the design. That's about like 5% of the pattern. The total pattern's close. It's not quite 20,000 stitches. I'll be working on this for a little bit, but I'm really enjoying how it's stitching up so far, and I hope to be getting more progress on this. It is, you know, it's not, I'm planning on finishing my Nightingale Mirabilia, but it's not necessarily like Mirror but it's my Mirror. I'm doing monogamous Mirror until I finish that one, and then I might switch over to working on one of my other Mirabilias. But then for Mermaid, I also want to stitch on my mermaids as much as possible, so I'll be stitching on this, and then once I'm done with my Nightingale, I probably will try to get some more stitches in on my Mermaid of the Pearls. I've been kind of letting her languish. I might have to do something with the fabric, but I'll reassess when I finish this one. But yes, so I'll include all the details in the description. Feel free to find me on my Instagram, and you'll see the progress I'm doing there. And you can also, you know, I try to link the designers and everything in my update posts, so you can find What Are Your Stitches posts, and everyone else who is involved in this chart. I'm excited. I'm sure it's going to turn out beautifully. So that was everything I stitched on last month. For purchases, I can't show you anything physically, but I will insert pictures. I wasn't planning on buying anything, but I had some funds come in. My sister has an eBay store, and I have given her some things that, you know, enter my stash since maybe I don't feel like stitching them anymore. You know, cross-stitch kits or other things that she can sell on her store, and if she does make a sale, you know, we'll divvy up the profits. And so I actually got some money from that this month, and so I was able to buy some charts for all the sales that were going on. I really wasn't planning on buying anything, but then I saw that Thread Geeks, I've never bought a chart from Thread Geeks. I've seen other people stitching them up and like really nice. But they had a new artist, Chrissabug, join, and Chrissabug has so many like Art Nouveau patterns that is like so on theme for me. I love the Art Nouveau style of the Autumn Lane Stitchery designs. I really like the Art Nouveau's design artwork for Medusa Dollmaker on Gecko Rouge, but I just never pulled the trigger on buying those charts, and obviously it's no longer with Gecko Rouge. I think the artist is charting her designs herself, so they still are available for purchase if you look for them, but the charting is not the same. I don't know. But I really liked some of the artwork that Thread Geeks was putting out for Chrissabug, and especially for 3 really caught my attention. There's some of the other ones that she had that I was interested in, but I decided to go with these 3. I play a game called Smite. It was a game that I played with my sister a lot, and I even played with some friends in college. It's called Smite, Arena of the Gods. It's a free game to download and play. I know a lot of people play it on, it's already cross-platform now, so you can play it on Xbox and play with people who are playing on PC, etc., etc. But the designs that she had specifically there, she has a design for Artemis, but it doesn't fit the character design for Artemis in the game, so I wasn't interested in that per se. But the designs that she had for Persephone, for the Morrigan, and Venus are very similar to the gameplay design for those goddesses in the game. So I bought those 3 charts. They had a buy 3 get 1 free sale, so I used my eBay earnings to get those charts. I'm really excited. They look really pretty. I showed them to my husband. He's really excited about it. Obviously, I'm not starting any of those. They're all full coverage, and they're pretty big ones. They're over 100,000 stitches each. Now I don't know, I've downloaded the charts, but I haven't opened them up or, you know, put them in Pattern Keeper or anything yet. So I don't know if I can maybe omit some of the background. I know I've seen a lot of Kaylee Tent Stitches full covers that she works on, and sometimes she does that. I might do that. I might dye some fabric. Just go ahead and just stitch, you know, black DMC over white and just bite the bullet on that. But instead of stitching on a black fabric for something that big and for that long, I think it might strain my eyes. But for like Venus, like I think that she has maybe a dark gray. One of them has a dark gray background, and the other one has like another tone background that I might be able to get away with hand dyeing and then omitting some of the background that has to be stitched. So that'll cut down on the stitch count and make it much more manageable to stitch them up. And then depending on the size, I might either finish them as tapestries or frame them. I'd be happy with either option. And those are 3 I probably, yeah, I would most likely keep them for myself, just because I have that tie to playing with my friends and my sister. And I still have the game. I probably, geez, I haven't updated it in I don't know how long. I haven't played on my PC in a minute. But if you're interested, I wouldn't mind hopping on there and playing. I think it's a really fun game. I played League of Legends a few times. I would love it if somebody came with like a cross design of both of those games, because I like the gameplay in Smite. I don't like the gameplay in League of Legends because you have to do so much clicking. And it's just, I don't know if people get around with that by using like, you can like use a game controller interface with your PC. There's like hookups for that, but I couldn't get into League of Legends because of that. But League of Legends has a good setup with like the variety of characters that you can play and like the different skins and stuff. I think it's a lot easier to purchase that stuff than it is in Smite, because in Smite you just have to play so many games to be able to, collect the points, and if you don't want to buy stuff, and I typically don't spend money on my games like that. Okay, enough nerdy talk. So those were only purchases for last month. My plans, I already kind of got into it. I want to finish my Mirabilia. If I finish my Nightingale, I'll switch over to switching Mermaid of the Pearls. Mermaid of the Pearls is stitched on like a darker fabric that I hand dyed, and then I tried using, it was like an experimental thing where I tried using some of the spray fabric paint, because it was going to give it like a pearlescent sheen to it, and it looks pretty, but it closed up some of the holes and it makes it hard to like stitch on it. I do want to still get progress on that. I want to see it stitched up and, finished and framed, but I think that just halted my progress on it. So, but I would love to go back to it and finish it up. It really is beautiful, and there's so much beading, and I like beading, so it would be something I could look forward to. But we'll see. First I have to finish my Nightingale. Then of course stitching my mermaids. I want to stitch on that Mermaid Periwinkle, Beauty and Beast that has a mermaid in it. Mermaid of the Pearls. I haven't decided about starting a mermaid, but I do have those charts that I got from Enchanting Layer. That's an option. I have some charts. I have a mermaid that I was planning on stitching for one of my nieces. I might start that. I also have the Nora letters for one of my nieces that I'm planning on stitching. So I could start on that if I finish my Nightingale, but I really do want to focus on finishing her first because I want to get her finished by the end of the month. So the last thing I have is shoutouts. I've watched lots of people this past week. Daydream Stitcher, they recently hit 3,000 subs. I can't remember if they're doing a giveaway or not, but you should go and check out their last video and watch it, and you'll see if she's giving something away to hit after hitting that milestone. But congrats on hitting 3,000 subs. That's amazing. They have really beautiful whips that they work on, so definitely go check them out. Mud Puppy Stitchery, she was sharing some of the stitches, the whips that she's working on, and she mentioned one of her owls, Owl Forest. I was really interested in how she was stitching that up. And she's really big into owls, and she does like little segments on different wildlife and stuff like that. I might have to mention to her the Gecko Rouge kit that I stitched, because that's like a really realistic owl, and it turned out beautifully. So that might be something that she's interested in. I'll have to like shout her out on Instagram or something. Of course, check out What Are Your Stitches on Instagram. They're the people who charted the Periwinkle mermaid that I'm working on. Mountain Craft Studios, I was recently watching one of their Flosstube videos. I guess they had done a store, like an LNS tour of the Cross Stitch Peddler. While they were doing the LNS tour, they were like zooming, like, the recording and going over a display of the charts that they had for sale, and it was like towards their Mirabilia, Lavender and Lace, like those typical charts. You could see some Black Swan charts. If you don't know these people, I would look them up. They have some very similar designs, fancy lady type designs. And I noticed a designer that I was not familiar with called Whispered by the Wind. I'm not saying that any of the patterns necessarily intrigued me to where I pulled the trigger on deciding to buy any of them, but they were really interesting, and they had fancy ladies too. So definitely go check out that last video. A lot of Stitchy goodies shown on that. And you know, if you ever one of those people who likes to go put LNSs on their list to go visit, that's definitely one that you know, looks like it would be a good place to stop by. Katie, on Flosstube, I'll link these people down below so you can check them out. Her channel's just Katie, so it might be, yeah, I'm sure if you looked up Katie Flosstube, you would pull her up, but I'll also link her down below. She had mentioned on one of her last videos a Marbeck design. I guess Marbeck was I'm not sure if that's the person who was the artwork or the person who did the charting, but then the company itself was Serendipity Designs. They also have fancy lady charts. This is not the first time I've seen charts by Serendipity Designs, but I've just remembered that they also have a bunch of different fancy ladies. And since I'm going back and looking at some of the lavender and lace charts and thinking about things that I might want to buy to potentially stitch in the future, I started looking at their charts too to see if anything that they had would interest me. I haven't found anything that I necessarily want to pull the trigger on as of yet, but they have some really, really beautiful designs, you know, towards that lavender and lace-esque fancy lady type style. So if you're interested in that, I would go check that out. Fun with cross stitch. I recently watched their latest video. I think they're also might be doing a giveaway. So if you like Nora Corbett charts, I think she had shown like the thimble and the needle fairies. So if you're interested in that, go watch her video, and you might be able to enter into that giveaway. Some other people I want to shout out on Instagram to go check out is Puppy Stitches and Stitch and Create. They're doing a birthday sale. It's a Mermaid sale. I'll pop the hashtag in the description. If you want to stitch a mermaid or a Mirabilia mermaid. I don't think they said it had to be Mirabilia. They mentioned it on one of the posts that they put on Instagram. So if you're interested in participating in that, they said to use the hashtag, and they've put out some things that they're going to be working on. They look really beautiful. So definitely go check them out on Instagram. And if you need a style to participate in, that sounds like a pretty good one to do. So I think that's it. Oh, okay, so if you've gotten to this point of the video, I don't know when this happened, but before I started recording this, I checked, and we have officially hit 100 subscribers. So I had said when we hit 100 subscribers that I would do a giveaway. So we'll see if I need to go back in and edit into any of this. I think I've seen enough of the Flosstube videos to see if other people do it to have a good gist of how this is going to go, but if I need to do a follow-up or anything, I'll do a shorter video before my weekly update. I'm probably going to draw a winner by May 6th. That's Monday. That's typically when I do my updates. I waited until today to do this monthly update because I wanted to wait until the month was officially over and I can give you all my stitch counts. Oh, if I didn't mention it, I had a monthly goal of 30,000 stitches and I exceeded that. So super happy. And hopefully I can do that this month too. Anyway, the giveaway. I'm going on all these tangents. So I will probably do the drawing this coming up Monday. That does not give you a full week to participate. I apologize, but not really, because depending on who actually watches these videos, right, like it'll up your odds of winning, right? So I'll leave it up until Monday. That'll be my next official update. In between, I might try to post some shorter clips of some of the hand-dyed fabric that I have that you might consider. Like I said, this isn't for a specific hand-dyed fabric. Any of the hand-dyed fabric that I showed in that video is fair game. That's not already associated to projects. I think I did show some hand-dyed fabric that I had already, you know, matched up with a chart that I wanted to stitch on. I think I also showed the Crystal Jazz Pictureless Plus fabric. Obviously, I'm now stitching the Mermaid Periwinkle on that, so that's no longer an option. But I have a lot of the fabric left for the Nightingale that I'm stitching. Just go back and check that video out. I went through all of my hand-dyed fabrics. I also mentioned I did a video with fabric that I had that wasn't hand-dyed. The only thing about that is that some of those fabrics were like really big cuts. And like, for example, I showed an Afghan fabric on there, and I don't know if that would be something that I would be willing to ship. I feel like I'd be able to ship more easily, like a smaller cut of fabric. I haven't decided yet how many pieces of fabric I'm going to be willing to ship out. So, if you enter into this giveaway and I decide on 5 people, you'll have 5 chances to potentially win. If you win once, you're not going to be up to win again. I'm going to try to spread this out as much as possible. I'm not saying I'm giving away 5 pieces. I haven't decided on a number as of yet, but the odds might be in your favor. So, and it also depends on which fabric you choose, right? Like if I decide on 5 people, hypothetically, and each of those 5 people want the same fabric, and I only have 1 piece of that fabric, I'm not going to be able to send, I can't clone the fabric to send that to each of them. So we'll see how this goes. This is my first giveaway, so it's going to be a lot of learning process. So I've seen other people doing this on Flosstube, so we'll give it a go. I was officially going to limit this to US subscribers only. However, I've seen other people on Flosstube mention that if you're willing to pay for shipping, because the reason why people put a limit on that is because the shipping aspect of shipping internationally from the US. Sometimes the costs just aren't affordable, especially if you're doing a giveaway, So if you're willing to pay for the shipping from Tennessee in the US to wherever your location might be, feel free to enter. Just put in your comment that you wouldn't mind paying for shipping, international, wouldn't mind paying for shipping, whatever. So to enter the giveaway, I don't say giveaway, don't say, contest, any of those trigger words that might invite trolls. I want this to go to somebody who's subscribing. If you subscribe solely to participate in this giveaway, more power to you. I'm not even mad at you. But, I want somebody who's interested in cross-stitch, who's actually interested in getting the fabric, not just spammers and people just trying to get free stuff. So tell me where you're from. I've seen people do that. So say, Stitchy greetings from so-and-so. And then if you're international, mention whether or not you're willing to pay for shipping, that you'll be entered. If you're not willing to pay for shipping, you're probably not going to be entered the giveaway. So make sure you mention something about that in your comment. If you're in the US, I will cover shipping. That's fine. What else would I want you to put in the comments? Well, this is Official Mermaid's Cove, right? So I've done a mermaid chart parade. You might have seen mermaid charts out there that you liked. So to enter the giveaway, tell me where you're from. You can just put stitching greetings from wherever. If you want to put the state, if you want to put the city, you can. If you want to be more vague, you can. It's up to you. But include that. International, let me know if you're okay for paying shipping and you'll be entered. And then last thing you need to do to be entered is tell me what your favorite mermaid chart is. And this will be fun for me because if it's something that I don't have in my stash, right, you can enable me to go see if that's something I'd be interested in purchasing. But yes, so tell me what your favorite mermaid chart is. So make sure you include mermaid chart in your comment. Because I think that's what I'll search for in the comments. But then you have to make sure you have all those other components too to be entered. Standard Flosstube giveaway rules apply. You have to be at least 18, so you can give me your address. There's no value associated with these fabrics, so if it's lost in the mail, you're not going to get refunded at any amount. This giveaway is not hosted by YouTube. It's something I'm doing. It's not sponsored by YouTube in any way. Not sponsored by anybody else. Trying to think. I also mentioned that I'm going to put a limit on the size of the fabric. So some of the cuts that I have hand-dyed are fairly big cuts of fabric. I think I'll limit it to... What is the size for my Ever After? The Ever After fabric that I'm working on is pretty decent, okay? I have it here. Okay, so the Ever After dimensions... So it's a 1/4 of a yard. That's a pretty decent size fabric. If I think about it, I'll insert a picture of what the dimensions are for 1/4 of a yard. So a 1/4 of a yard is probably as big as I'll go. So if I have a bigger piece of fabric, I will cut it down to a 1/4 of a yard. If you are interested in deciding which part of the fabric I cut, we can try to figure that out. we can probably maybe do a video call, or I can send you pictures over Instagram, and you can decide if you do choose one of the bigger cuts that I'm going to cut down to send to you. If you want it serged, I have a serger, but I haven't played around with it enough to be confident that I wouldn't mess up the fabric at this point. But I can do like a zigzag stitch or something. Let me know if you have a preference on that, or if you have a serger, you would prefer to do that yourself. That's fine. If not, if you don't have a preference either way, I'll just send it to you as is, without a finished edge or anything. When I select a winner, how do I want to do this? I do have an email for Official Mermaid's Cove. So maybe the easiest thing would be is if you hear me say your name in the giveaway, send me an email and let me know that you won. And mention the place where you're stitching from, because I've seen other Flosstubers use that as a way to verify that the person who's saying that they won matches up with the person who left the comment, so it's not just a scammer trying to play off as if they won when they actually didn't. So email me, and email me your address. Remember, you have to be 18 or get your parents' permission to be able to send that to me, and I will send it to you. I think that'll work. My email is in my channel description, but I'll go ahead and put it in the description here for this video as well. I think it's just officialmermaidscove@gmail.com, but I'll put it in the description. Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you for everyone who's subscribed so far. Thank you for getting me 200 subscribers. Honestly, I don't have any goals for subscriber count at this point. I'm just happy to be involved and happy to be engaging with the community. I'm really excited with the things that I've been sharing, the things that I've been seeing. I'm excited with all the new charts that are getting released. It just gives us more stuff to stitch on, and I'm excited that this hobby keeps growing and evolving, and I look forward to enjoying it for many, many years to come. Thank you for watching and sharing with me. I'm excited about seeing how many people enter the giveaway, and honestly, I don't know. We'll see, right? I don't want to commit to anything, but I have more hand-dyed fabric than I need, so I would be more than happy to give away multiple pieces. Again, I'm planning on doing maybe some shorter videos, just some shorts, put more content on my YouTube channel, but also give you an idea of like some of the sizes of the fabrics. I know I didn't do a good job of like telling the sizes for all the fabrics that I showed in that video, so maybe I'll do some shorts with some of the pieces. I'm not promising to do shorts on every single piece of fabric, because I do have a lot of fabric, but I'll try to do that with some more sizing information, so that way, oh yeah, when you send me the email that tells me that you won, let me know if you have a particular fabric that you want, what your choice is. If you're referring back to the video that I did, you can give me the timestamp for that video and I can search back and find that fabric in my stash, or we can go back and forth on emails, and I will try to verify that that's the fabric you want before I ship it to you, just to make sure that we're on the same page about that. But yeah, I'm excited about this. We'll see how this goes. This is my first giveaway. If it goes well, I'm looking forward to doing more in the future. We'll just take it as we go. But yeah, comment below if you want to enter that. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.